questions for Dell or Coach? So you said yesterday, Dell, you didn't want to go into tonight trying to hit a grand slam, but how would you assess your at-bat?
We like our on base percentage. Now we feel good about the draft. We really do feel good about the draft.
Monty, are you very pleased with upgrade and athleticism you got with the players tonight? Just you look at Darius, you look at Rivers, very athletic, shoot, and do a lot of different things. Was that something key tonight that you wanted to upgrade with more athleticism?
Yeah. Well, Dell and I talked about, you want to add talent, obviously, but there's ways to add it. We felt like we needed guys who could create their own shot, and we got that in Austin. I've talked about length forever, and we got athleticism and length in the best player in the draft, in Anthony. And then Darius was a bit of a bonus. Dell and his staff felt like he was a top 30 talent, if I'm not mistaken. So, we feel like we drafted the guys we wanted, yet we also realized there's a ton of work ahead of us to get those guys ready. Not sure yet. I think the way the league is now, guys, I think he's 230, so guys that have that kind of size can swing from the 3 to the 4 spot in a pinch, depending on a game or situation, but it's too early to tell just yet.
Earlier, Dell deferred to you on whether or not you would move Austin to point. What's your feeling on that, and is that doable?
I think he can someday play the point guard. Right now, I want to make sure that he's comfortable just playing in a game. I don't want to label him as a point guard or a 2 guard. He's a guard. I think the ability that we have is that Eric Gordon can play the point guard position. He's probably our best pick and roll player. So Austin can morph into that at times, but I would hate to pigeonhole him into that position.
Monty, you talk a lot about playing the game the right way, respecting the game. The programs these guys came from, the coachability, Austin's pedigree.
Yeah.
You talk about all that.
Well, again, I think that's something that Dell and I talk about a lot, bringing guys in here who respect not only the game, but will respect the way that we want to play the game. We play hard every second we're on the floor, and we certainly felt like we had to bring in guys who fit that, and that's why Dell staff does the intel work that they do. If guys don't fit that mold, they may be talented, but they may not want to come in here and put up with a 2-hour practice and have to play the next day, and that's just not something we do. So we felt like we added guys that came from championship programs, and they understand the kind of intensity that you have to have. And yet, these guys are young. They don't understand this kind of intensity, so it's going to take a while before they understand what they have to do here.
Dale, do you feel you addressed whatever you're looking at center, free agency or trade, or it doesn't really matter?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to address that. We're really excited about tonight. I think we'll address that tomorrow. Free agency starts on the 1st. We have the ability to acquire players a number of ways, either through signing them. We can take players into our cap space. We got a big board, and we got some ideas. But we're really excited about the guys that we were able to acquire tonight. As Coach said, getting Darius Miller, we didn't expect that. We think he's a good player, and the other 2 guys with Rivers and Davis, we really feel good about tonight. He can shoot the ball. He does a lot of. The one thing that's good about him is, and one of the commentators said it on tonight, is that his role in college will be very similar to his role in the NBA. He's not the superstar, and I don't want to put too much on it right now. But I just let him see him come in, fit in, get into the system. you know, it's going to be some, you know, got summer league coming up. That would give us a really good chance to evaluate him there as well.
He didn't work out for you here. Did you see him in another workout, perhaps the one in Minnesota? Or?
You know, I watched, you know, I went and hung out at Kentucky for about 4 or 5 days. And so I went to a number of their practices, and you know, I watched them play a number of times. And you know, Kentucky's on TV almost every one of their games, and so you know, watching him play his whole career, you know, we followed him.
Go ahead, Brent.
Monty, can you talk about it, all the personal nature of the Austin Rivers pick? And I know you're going to try to keep it professional, but it's hard to avoid the history and having been coached by his dad.
Yeah, payback. Doc he was on me a lot in Orlando, and even when I got to New York, he was my vet, and he stayed on me all the time. And then he left, went to San Antonio, and then I got traded to San Antonio, and he was tough on me there. But I go back to Chris, his wife. She was the first person to take me to the side my rookie year and tell me, Monty, you know, if you need a place to, you know, hang out, or you want something to eat or home cooked meal, just come by the house. And I never forgot that. And it's just amazing how life is at times. You know, here we are, and I have the privilege of coaching their son, and at the same time I feel a responsibility to make sure that he becomes the best player that he can be, just like we do all of our guys. But I'm not going to lie, it is different. You know, I'm looking at a kid that I've watched grow up, been around him since he was 4 or 5 years old, and there's no need in me trying to front like it's not different. It is at times, but you guys know me. If he messes with the game, you know, I'll forget his last name real quick, be back to business.
Hey, Monty, Austin, some people have said, is almost super confident to the point of being cocky.
Mm-hmm.
How did you all view it? Did you all look at that as maybe in a positive, you know, attitude?
We don't want anybody around here that's not confident. We just want people to be respectful. I think that's the misnomer. You know, if you're confident and respectful, we love you. It's the confident, arrogant guys that probably drive people crazy. Austin's not disrespectful. All you got to do is look at his parents. His brother Jeremiah might be one of the best human beings you're ever going to meet. Callie's the best athlete in the family, and Spencer's bringing up the rear, and he's probably as tough as they come. Just look at their family. I mean, they don't have that. So we want confidence. That shot he hit against North Carolina, we'll take that kind of confidence every day.
John?
Monty, was it important, you said when you worked out, that you just liked him, but that you said confidence, but his scoring ability, was that key to getting somebody in here who can really put the ball in the basket?
I mean, when I'm in the season and going over pick and roll defenses and scouting reports, I'm not thinking about that, but that was something that Dell had already addressed in their meetings, that we needed scoring. We needed guys who could create off the dribble, and he was at the top of our list, believe it or not. I mean, we felt like Austin, his ability to get to the basket is second to none in this draft, and you know, he can knock down shots, and we think he's going to be able to get to the free throw line. But that's something that Dell staff talked about and had to remind me of. I feel like we can stop everybody and hold them to 80 points, but he's always reminding me that we need to score. So Austin should fill that need someday. You know, it's going to take him time.
Hey, Dell, was there a point where you all were worried that Austin might go before you all?
Yeah, there was a point. And you know, Monty and I went back in his office. Actually, we just sat there, just waited, and then you know, we came back out. And but there was a point we thought that he could have been drafted in front of us.
What was? Can you all let us inside the war room a little bit? What was the reaction like when right before?
Oh, we were excited. You know what I mean? We think back back in April when the season ended, and we had one of our postseason meetings, and just before the lottery, and if we could have came in and said, hey, we're going to have Anthony Davis and Austin Rivers in this draft, everybody would have said, let's take it and go. And so we were just thrilled. Everybody was excited. We think that there's just a big opportunity, but we also want to manage expectations. These are 19-year-old kids coming in here, and so it's not going to happen overnight. They're going to take their bumps, they're going to take their bruises, and I think the important thing is for everybody to grow with us, and patience is going to be a big thing. We have to manage expectations.
Good. Thanks, everybody.